Go.
What happened? Your balls drop off?
This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Let's jump in.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is 12 Gauge. Welcome to my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I thought I'd go on and talk about this case I've talked about before, but I thought I'd bring a new live to it because still she is out there and missing. If you haven't heard about this case, her name is Emma Baum, and she is from Gary, Indiana, and she was pregnant at least, I would say 9 months, 8 to 9 months. So,
Or you'd be in there for months.
so I thought I would bring awareness again on this Saturday morning. I'm going to replay the video that I have made before about it. I'm streaming this on Facebook, so get the word out. She was from Gary, Indiana. So if anybody in the Indiana area in the Midwest has seen this woman, please get the word out. She was about to give birth. She supposedly was at her boyfriend's house, got dropped off, left the boyfriend's house with a friend, and that's the last time she was seen. So let me play this video a little bit to give you some more insight on it.
That's awesome sauce. My name is 12 Gauge. If you've never been here before,
Let's get to the good stuff.
it'll make you crazy. Terrible. 24 near 25th Avenue and Connecticut Street in Gary, Indiana. She was expecting another child and was due any day before she vanished. Age 25, height 5'3", weighing 135 pounds. Her brown eyes, brown hair. She often wears wigs of all kinds. She has several scars on her arms and has multiple tattoos. If you know anybody in the Gary, Indiana area that has potentially seen her or has any tips, please have them call Gary PD Detective Salazar at 219-881-1209. Her crime tip hotline at 866-CRIME-GP. Her boyfriend was arrested the day after she went missing. She had just gotten out of jail, and it just doesn't look good for this young lady. Swamp Rose and I did a live on this about 2 hours yesterday, and it's kind of sad how people just up and vanish without a trace. It makes you really kind of like the thing that I was saying this morning. Life is short. Life is really freaking short. You never know what's going to happen. What, let me play a little bit about this. One of these that I'm not.
Okay, let me get to the media part of it. And here we go.
Appearance. I would like my daughter home. We miss her. Her babies need her. Her family needs her.
Holding posters with her pictures. More than anything right now, the family of 25-year-old Emma Baum wants to embrace Emma and the baby she was expecting.
She was 1 centimeter dilated on October 4th. She has been missing since October 10th. At this point, we have done everything we can, and now we ask the public to please help us.
Emma is 5 feet 3 inches tall and about 136 pounds. She's known to wear different hair pieces and wigs. This picture of her as a brunette is how she looks naturally. Emma is a mom of 4 young children, which includes the baby she likely would have delivered by now. She was 9 months pregnant when she disappeared.
If you do see a missing Emma, she may be with her newborn baby. This case is very critical because we don't know if that baby has gotten the care that it needs.
Emma's loved ones say she was last seen at her boyfriend's house October 10th in the 2500 block of Connecticut Street in Gary. Gary investigators say they didn't receive a missing persons report until October 28th. According to investigators, Emma's boyfriend was arrested on October 29th on an unrelated warrant and is currently being held in the Lake County Jail in Indiana.
One individual was picked up on a warrant. I know that's the question out there. Was he charged? He has not been charged. No one in this case has been charged. And that individual was just on a separate FTA warrant.
Okay, so as far as I know, up to this point, there's been no new information. I've been advocating to get the sister to come up on panel to give us a update on the situation, and she's still working on that. So hopefully that'll happen soon. But Emma was just released from jail herself, and that has no bearing, I don't believe, on this case. But people were looking for her and her unborn child. By this point, that child hopefully is born and would be almost in October would be a year. So it'd be 6 months old at this point.
Investigators say since Emma was reported missing, they have helped in her search.
There's been 3 different locations that have come up in the investigation. So we've exhausted those means and looked into video that was possibly in those areas that she was last seen as well.
Loved ones describe Emma as having a heart of gold, someone who would do anything for anyone. And now they're pleading with anyone who knows something to help them reunite with Emma and her baby.
We love you, Emma. And if you can hear us, there's nothing that you have done to make any of us stop loving you. We trust that somebody knows something.
And we want her
And we
home.
want her
We
home.
want her home.
Well, anyone who does know anything about where Emma Baum is located should contact Gary Police.
So if you guys know anybody in that area, or you know anybody that could potentially pass the word on, this family is doing this all by themselves. They said in another interview that I did yesterday, that I did on the live, they said that they've had to look into abandoned houses, risk their own lives, do all kinds of stuff, and it just sad to think that a family member goes missing and you got to be the one that's proactive to make sure that you keep their case in the news, that you keep their face all over the place, because the way they made it sound, it's like the police really weren't interested in helping. Hey Jim, thank you for your comment. I've never been.
Hold on a second. I want to give, um, I want to play this update video that was 2 months after that video was played to give kind of an insight on the update.
Year brings renewed hope for the family of a missing Gary woman. The family continues to search for clues in her disappearance and tells our Jermont Terry, despite the year ending, they will never stop looking for her.
As we welcome in the new year, there's a sense of not knowing for the family of Emma Baum.
It's hard. And to know that this is the beginning of a new year and we might do this all year.
Abby Smith and her family members haven't seen her sister Emma since mid-October. At that time, Emma was days away from delivering her fourth child, yet she vanished in Gary days before the delivery.
Or we can't function. We can't, go one day without wondering.
They've been in abandoned homes with canines. The family has spent countless hours searching the neighborhood in Gary where Emma was spotted. Back in November, her mother, who joined the efforts, told CBS News Chicago,
My whole family will never stop looking for you, Emma.
has those search efforts continued, and will they always continue?
Like we said, it's not going to stop. She has 3 kids, and regardless of anything from point A to point B, they deserve to know where their mom is or what has happened.
And not knowing has placed an unimaginable toll on the entire family, especially during the holidays. Do you believe that your sister is alive today?
She missed her son's birthday. She missed Thanksgiving. She's missed Christmas. Now she's going to miss a new year. There has to be that hope.
Because hope is the only thing keeping them going. Her family tells me after searching and talking to people, they have reason to believe her disappearance is due to foul play. Yet Gary police have only classified Emma's case as a missing person investigation. Until the family hears otherwise, they're asking anyone to call with information.
It would provide comfort.
But she knows her family isn't the only one searching for answers.
Large amount of missing women and children in Gary, Indiana, to the point where the numbers are really concerning.
In Gary, Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago.
So that was the latest update. Well, let me continue this video because I have a lot more in this video, but that was giving you a little history of the updated version. Let me continue to fast forward me talking.
You see the camper right here on the right hand side? See, I always thought that was the camper that, when I think of camper, that's what I think of, Yeah, no alcohol in my eggnog either. I drink it virgin,
So one of the things that was discussed early on was that she was possibly seen getting into a brown camper with a male inside of it. So I was wondering at this point, what kind of camper was it? Was it one of these right here on the right, or was it something else that was pulled by a vehicle? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about right now.
You like hot chai nog. I'll have to try that. I'm so glad to see you. I was worried about you because I know that you never miss. And I was like, wonder if she's okay. I hope nothing bad happened, PKC, we're glad you're here. It could be something that was on the back of a truck, or it could be something like this. It's a 2-wheeler, has a door, and they could have, the individual could have taken her in there. You just never know. You just never know what kind of camper it was. But they did say it was a tan camper, so I guess it was like this, but it could have been like this with a tan color. So maybe it would have been something like this. These are pretty cool. But do you see how, Kiki and I were talking about, if it was a crime scene, if she was placed in that camper, you know how easy it would have been to dispose of that crime scene. You know what I mean? So it's very imperative that people are looking out for this individual and her little daughter or son. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter. But let's listen to Nancy Grace a little bit. I know some of you don't like Nancy, but she's the only one that I can really play that has more information about this. So try to hold your bias aside and let's listen to what Nancy had to say about this if she has anything different than what we've heard.
Pregnant mom, just 25 years old, missing tonight. The family's desperate plea. Where's Emma? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
I'm Emma Baum's mother. I would like my daughter home. We miss her. Her babies need her. Her family needs her. And if anybody knows anything or can help search for her, could you please help us? We need her home.
That is Emma Baum's mother. A desperate plea to bring Emma home. Emma, 9 months pregnant, dilated to 1 centimeter to our knowledge. That from our friends at ABC7. Joining me right now, an all-star panel. But first, I'm going to go to Emma's mother, Jamie Baum. Jamie, thank you for being with us. Also with Jamie is Emma's father, Jason Waddell, and sister, Abby. To all of you, thank you for being with us. I've just learned about Emma's disappearance. I'm very curious. I know that she's been gone several weeks at this point. But the first thing I want to do, Jamie, is get her photo out there. Emma, gorgeous, stunning, inside and out, a real girly girl. She loved putting on makeup and dressing up. She loved different styles, wearing wigs, just everything fashion. Now at 9 months pregnant, seemingly has vanished. Straight back out to Jamie Baum. First of all, tell me about the pregnancy. Is it correct that she was at 1 centimeter when she goes missing?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
Tell me about her pregnancy. Has it been a difficult pregnancy? Has it been high risk? Can you tell me? Because I'm trying to imagine. Is she in some hospital somewhere? Has she had the baby? What is behind all of this? How do you just vanish at 9 months?
That's a good thought, Nancy. That is a really good thought. And I've talked to other people. I've talked to my girl, and she even brought up, that this individual could possibly be somewhere where, she's being taken care of and nobody really knows where she's at. She didn't have a phone because she was about to turn her phone on that Friday. So she doesn't have a phone to track her. She just got out of jail, so there's no kind of digital footprints to track her. So is there other places that you guys can think of that maybe she might be where it's not necessarily the worst case scenario? She said hospital. Is there any place that a person who's 25 years old, dilated 1 centimeter, could possibly be going and not be heard from all this time?
Pregnant. I could hardly walk. 6 months pregnant with twins. So how does a pregnant she's just 25, a young woman just seemingly disappear? Tell me about her pregnancy.
Well, she's had a good pregnancy. She was just dilated when she went. We tried to have her stay home, but she ended up going out.
There's a shot right there of Emma with one of her babies. Right now, her children want to know, where's mommy? Again, joining me in all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But listen.
We've all gathered here today because we are looking for my sister. She was 1 centimeter dilated on October 4th. She has been missing since October 10th. My sister is beautiful. She's energetic. She reaches for the sky just like a sunflower, which is her favorite.
You're seeing that from our friends at ABC7. Joining me, in addition to Emma's mother, Jamie, father, Jason, and sister, Abby, Lisette Guillen is joining us, host of Case Files Chicago, and you can find her at Case Files Chicago. Lisette, thank you for being with us. Lisette, tell me about the area from which she goes missing. This is Gary, Indiana. Is it in the city? Is it the metropolitan area around the city?
This is in the city, Nancy. It's in a more dilapidated area. We're talking about 25th block of Connecticut Street, which there are a lot of empty buildings around. There's a lot of empty land and wooded area there. So it is, part of the city. One of the concerns is it's also very near our expressways there. And of course, we're known as the crossroads of America in this area. So, the thought of maybe her, being even gone on that highway is actually a concern too.
You're absolutely correct. Listen to this.
Emma Baum was last seen near 25th Avenue and Connecticut Street, about 2 miles directly south of downtown Gary, Indiana. It's been described as a dismal and desolate area. Baum was visiting a home in the neighborhood. Her friends and family have been there, scouring abandoned homes, looking for her and for clues into her disappearance.
Joining me, in addition to the family and Lisette Guillen, Brian Fitzgibbons is with us, Director Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, leading a team of investigators specializing in finding missing people. You can find him at uspasecurity.com. Brian, thank you for being with us. I've got all sorts of thoughts colliding in my head regarding the disappearance of 25-year-old, 9-month pregnant Emma.
I mean, it's terrible to think that this is the situation, okay? Her two sisters gave her a ride over to see her boyfriend, right? His name's Antoine Butler. She texted him, "Hey, I'm here." They let her out of the car, and that's the last time anybody heard from her. She obviously texted him from one of the sisters' phones, so she didn't text him from her phone because she didn't have one. She was going to get it turned on the next day. So Antoine told the police that he didn't know what happened to her. His story has changed more than once. And he stated at one point that she left with a friend, which would...
Okay, so somebody who's having a child goes over to your house to visit you. She doesn't have a cell phone. She asked to borrow a cell phone to let her sister know, or whoever, that she made it over there okay. The individual that's there with her state that she left with a friend. Nobody's seen her since. Nobody knows what happened to her that I know of up to this point. If anybody has any updated information, feel free to contact the Gary, Indiana police. Or if you want me to get that information out, just hit me up on my channel, YouTube, 12 Gauge Investigative. You can leave me a comment under this video, or you can leave me a comment on the Facebook. So, as I'm telling you right now, this individual has been missing since October. And she was about to give birth to a newborn boy. She went missing after leaving her boyfriend's house, who was later arrested for warrants. No sight of her, nothing. The only thing anybody's really said is they supposedly saw her getting into a brownish, tan colored, camper looking vehicle. And that's all we have at this point, unless people know more.
Later found out to be a lie. So nobody knew anything for 24 hours. And then, as you heard, they didn't really put Excuse me. They didn't put her as a missing person probably for about 8 days. So, you know, that's a long time to be missing, especially when you're about to have a baby and the boyfriend is in jail. They'd been dating for about a year. Um, and all the things that we heard yesterday, we didn't really hear any kind of character situation, the personalities or any kind of character things about the boyfriend. So we can't really say that, he did have problems with drugs or he had alcohol issues or he was into any high risk things. We can't say that because we really don't know. Um, but the last pregnant woman that we spotlighted on here was the one in Texas with her and her boyfriend that went to do a drug deal, and the guy ended up shooting her and him in their car, and the father helped, you know, get rid of the evidence. That was outside of San Antonio. Um, some of you are saying another Scott Peterson case, another Lacey Peterson. Um, it could be. I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard to really be walking around with a pregnant woman or even to dispose of a pregnant woman because a canine unit has been in that house. An individual, and all this stuff's in the other video that I did yesterday. So if you want on your free time, be able to go and watch the other video. It has the missing person flyer as the thumbnail. But there's a canine unit that for free was searching for her and the baby, and they got the landlord to let them into the house, the apartment, and they said the canine really didn't hit on anything other than they found some clothing. The canine hit on some scents around the house, but nothing else. And she has not been heard from since the 10th of October. And she was about to have a baby. How does somebody just go missing when they're about to have a child and nobody knows anything? I mean, these circumstances, they just seem so out of pocket for some people. Like I've always said, a lot of these people she had a big family. She has a big family, but obviously she didn't tell them everything because otherwise they'd have more clues. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that hold a lot back from their family members. And if anything happened, they don't have any understanding of what happened, what could have happened, anything like that. So let's continue on with Nancy Grace.
Baum, number one, a case I'm sure you're very familiar with, and that is the case of Shasta and Dylan Groney, who go missing out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Why? What does that have to do with Emma's disappearance? If you could, control room, please show me that map again. If you look down at an aerial of Coeur d'Alene, you see nothing but green, densely wooded trees. That's all you see. Running through that very rural area, heavily forested, is an interstate. What happened to these two children? A guy, a perv, driving down the interstate, gets a glimpse of Shasta Groney, about 11 years old, and little brother Dylan. Gets a glimpse through the trees of them at an above ground pool. He goes and lies in wait, kills the whole family to abduct the children, ultimately killing Dylan as well. Shasta lived. After our program broadcast the photos, a woman in a convenience store spotted Shasta with her attacker and called the tip line. Okay. The significance of that interstate cannot be emphasized enough. Explain, Brian.
To have a main thoroughfare like that so close to where Emma was last seen is very concerning, because she could move at a high rate of speed to get away from that area. And complicating factor even further is the phone that she was holding at the time did not have a service plan connected. So even though it's still
that's a whole nother can of worms, the cell phone issue. But Brian, just think about it. 60 miles an hour. If she was in a vehicle, that's how quickly she'd be gone. At 1 centimeter dilated just before her disappearance. Look at Emma, 5'3", 136 pounds, 9 months pregnant, brown hair, light brown hair, blondish hair, and eyes, brown eyes, tattoos. You see one right there. Now, she loves to dress up and wear different colored wigs. That's just her. What is she wearing right now? We cannot project that. There you see her. In other shots, you may see her with short, light brown hair. Just look at her face. If I could show her face again. And specifically, I want to see a shot of that tattoo along her neck and collarbone, because regardless of how she's got her hair done, that is something that will not change.
And that is a good point Nancy Grace made there. That tattoo, as you can see right there, it is visible and it is very noticeable. So that tattoo won't change. So if you're looking out for this individual anywhere in the US, that tattoo can be a notification to let you know that this could be Emma Baum. She had another one on her neck. Excuse me. Another one on her neck. But this one right here on her collarbone area is more distinctive. So be on the lookout for that tattoo.
That's true.
To Jamie, this is Emma's mom. What is that? There she is with the brown hair, with a brown wig. What, Jamie? What is the tattoo? It looks like a sunrise.
It is. Yes, it is a sunrise.
Emma is a natural brunette, but often has her hair like this. Now, the other case I want to bring up to you, Brian Fitzgibbons. We just heard Lizette Guillen joining us from Case Files Chicago, talking about multiple abandoned homes in the area where she was last visiting friends. In that neighborhood, there are some abandoned homes. And it brings to mind a case that I covered extensively, the disappearance of Aliana DeFries, a schoolgirl on her way to school, ultimately found she had been tortured. She was killed in an abandoned home. Brian Fitzgibbons, police must go through every single abandoned home in that area. Explain the danger.
There's a lot of inherent danger there. First of all, Gary, Indiana is a dangerous place. With all these abandoned homes, Nancy, you complicate search efforts, particularly for volunteers. Police need to get on the ground there in that vicinity of 25th and Connecticut and start searching some of those abandoned properties immediately.
How do you go about doing that? I mean, this is your expertise. You don't just drive by, for Pete's sake. The problem I see with an abandoned home is that a victim can be taken in there. They can be murdered. They can be held hostage, and no one's going in and out. People stay away from abandoned homes. Who wants to get near it? You don't know what's in there. They're deemed unsafe. So people can be in there and nobody knows.
Yeah, the city should have access to these abandoned properties without needing a search warrant. In many cases, they will indeed have that access. So I don't see that being an issue in this case.
Another case that is startlingly similar is that of a young mom, a Memphis mom, Eliza Fletcher, out minding her own.
You know, I'm going to show a little bit about Gary, Indiana. I just found a video. because I've been talking about the landscape and things like that. Hopefully, they'll be able to give you some more insight on what Gary, Indiana's like if you've never been. So, the urge to find this person and her child is extreme. You know, they say the first 72 hours are the most important when somebody goes missing. The first 72 hours.
And the sad part is she's been missing since October 2nd. So she's been missing for a while, but that doesn't mean that we can't stop looking. Can't stop looking until she's found. The family needs her to be found. So anybody that's listening to this, if you have any knowledge, any kind of tips, no matter how small you feel they might be, contact the Gary, Indiana Police Department and give them the tip that you might have, because any little bit could possibly bring Emma home and the young child as well.
Do you believe that they have more information than they're giving out? Or do you believe that they have no clues? What do y'all think, chat? There's 8 of y'all in here. You know, that's what's so aggravating sometimes is, you know, I can show cases like this and other creators can show cases like this, and people are like, okay, that's cool, you know, that's sad, that's whatever. But they don't stay and talk about the case. They don't learn about the case. They don't learn what they can do to potentially see anything that other people can miss. Kind of like what everybody does in that other case, you know? Um, it's not like, you know, it takes that much more time to sit here and listen to this poor woman's case than a case that you have already had somebody arrested for. The individual's in jail. He's been in jail for 2 years, and you're still lining up to talk about that stupid case. But this case right here is fresh, and she's a mom. And where's the sense of urgency for this woman? Where's the sense of urgency for other cases? Is it because people really don't know about true crime and how to really talk about cases? Or is it because it's really not that important to them?
Business, Eliza was jogging. Here we have Emma innocently visiting a friend, and she goes missing. Eliza goes missing. She was found in an abandoned home that no one thought to look in. I would advise some sort of a grid search at this point, Brian Fitzgibbons, a grid search of this entire area.
Absolutely. And listen, there are quite a few abandoned homes in the vicinity, but this is not a massive area around the place that she was last seen. And we have to think if something did happen to her, she would have had to been moved very close by, that she wouldn't have been moved too far away.
To Abby Smith joining me. This is Emma's sister along with mom, Jamie. Abby, tell me about the phone that Emma had.
Emma used a lot of the Wi-Fi data, so she should be able to connect to some sort of cell tower or some sort of area where we'd be able to determine whether or not that phone was moved, I thought. Her last message was at 5:32 p.m. And then she's just gone completely blank. We haven't had any contact. No one has said anything. We haven't come up. No Facebook, no Snapchat, no anything. And we have not found the phone.
Okay, hold on right there. Hold on. I've got to dissect everything you're saying. Abby is Emma's sister. Guys, please help us. The family contacted me. We read about the case online. I have seen no other media coverage of Emma's case. The family is desperate tonight, joining together, the dad, the mom, the sister, begging for help, begging for your help. I want to give you a couple of numbers right now. Here is a toll-free number. It's 1-800-YOU-TELL-US, 1-800-883-5587. Repeat, 1-800-883-5587. You can remain anonymous. You can remain anonymous. 1-800-YOU-TELL-US, 883-5587. Or there's a detective working the case out of Lake County Homicide, Detective Gordon. 219-755-3855. 219-755-3855. The mom and dad desperate for help. They have been out searching. They have been out putting up flyers. Won't you help us help them? To Sister Abby, I want to understand a little bit more about her cell phone.
And people say, well, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? Most people these days have social media. You can download the flyer, put it on your social media account, generate it, get the word out, talk to people. You know, if you have any truck drivers in the family, spread the word. There's a missing mom from Gary, Indiana. She was pregnant. She lived near an interstate. If y'all hear anything, contact the police. Because it is really futile when somebody goes missing. It is really imperative that more people get involved and spread the word. I mean, this is going to be the only way that people are going to get this out here. And this family is desperate. They've been doing all the legwork by themselves. And you say, well, what can I do? I'm not near there. Some of you have community tabs. You can plaster her poster all over. Give the information that you know that you've heard on this channel tonight. Give the information that Nancy has given you. Spread the word every day. Because the more people get the word out, wouldn't you want people to do that for you if you went missing? Or would you want people just to stay silent and hope that the cops found you eventually? You know? This is what real true crime is about. It's about helping people. It's about getting the word out. It's about investigating these cases and not getting so emotionally driven that you have such attachment that you can't see the facts because you're so emotionally driven. It's about showing the facts and passing it along and hoping that somebody hears, somebody sees, somebody remembers. We might not can do a lot, but we can do something. So don't ever have that mentality that, what can I do? I don't live there.
Yes, this is still live. This was a prior broadcast that I did live. I'm just doing an update. I was hoping to get Emma's sister to be able to come up here. And if she's watching this, she's more than welcome to come into the chat, and I can drop the link and she can come up here and give us an update on her sister. I told her the other day that I would definitely do this case again because she still has not been found. She went missing October 2nd, 2024, and she's still not been found, her or her unborn child.
I don't know these people. But God forbid I want to be part of that Idaho 4 case.
Now, was this a prepaid phone? You said she was using Wi-Fi. Was she out of minutes? Help me understand what's happening.
She was gonna turn it on. I believe she was using the phone company Boost. Was it the Boost?
I think so.
Boost. So, like, it's one of the prepaid phones. She had no minutes, so she did actively use the Wi-Fi. She would connect anywhere she could so she could keep in contact with everybody.
Hold on just a second. Abby, you cut out on me. Would you just start that over, please? I need to hear every word. Was she using a prepaid phone?
Yes, through Boost Mobile.
Okay, prepaid phone, Boost Mobile. Had she run out of minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me understand, Brian Fitzgibbons. I don't have a prepaid phone. Explain to me how that works quickly.
Whether your phone has minutes or not, it's still communicating to cell phone towers. Anybody who has an old phone knows you can still make an emergency call from it. It's not sending as much information. It's not going to be as precise, but that phone would have still been communicating with cell phone towers.
Urgent. Are you telling me, Brian, that even though she was out of minutes, her phone could still be pinged?
That is correct, Nancy.
That's what I was getting at. I'm sorry to cut you off, Abby, but that's what I'm trying to find out. To hey with the prepaid minutes and the blah and the blah. I want to get a ping. I want a ping on this phone. So do you believe, Abby, she had simply run out of minutes? Was the phone cut off? Or was the phone dead, out of battery? Because the prepaid aspect is irrelevant, according to Fitzgibbons.
Well, like you said, she was a girly girl, so she would not have a dead phone. It just isn't like her to walk around without a cell phone, especially being as pregnant as she was. It makes no sense why she would not have it.
More responsible than that.
Yes, way more responsible than that.
When you say she was very responsible to Mom Jamie Baum, what do you mean she was more responsible than that?
She just was on it. She wouldn't have not called any of us. We talk to her daily. She has a huge family, and we all stay connected all the time.
Very responsible, a great mom, pregnant 9 months. Brian, I just want to nail something down. Okay. So if she had her phone with her and she, like most of us, is very careful about keeping it charged, it doesn't matter, Brian, if she had run out of minutes. Is that correct?
That's correct. It changes things a bit because it's not communicating with the towers as much as a phone that has service. So on your phone that has service, you might have 100 different applications that are communicating out to the internet through the tower. All right. When that service is off, you only have that emergency beacon and GPS and the ability to make a call to the cell phone company.
Back to Sister Abby joining us. Abby, my control room just came into my ear and told me that Emma's father, Jason, actually had to walk out of the room. What happened?
It's a lot emotionally. This is one of the hardest things our family has ever dealt with. And I wouldn't say he wants to admit that he feels broken or unable to do anything to help.
He can't return.
And this is breaking. It's breaking everybody. He's broken.
Isn't your dad a war vet?
Yes.
Yes.
What war was he in?
Iraq. Iraq.
So this is a man that's faced the enemy far from home and fought bravely, and he cannot talk about Emma's disappearance. What has this done to him? What has this done to him?
He wants to do what is right so we can make sure we have the correct justice, and it's just really hard emotionally. He feels like his country has turned his back on his children, and he has put all the effort into making it safe for everybody, and it's just not. It's still not.
See, I hope, I hope with everything I am that people do not turn on this family or even try to dig into this family's past history. They have nothing to do with the disappearance. Focus on Emma. She's an adult. There's no need to go digging into the family other than what they want you to know. So it's important that we stick to the facts instead of trying to dig up clues within the family that's going to miraculously say, oh, one of them did it. No. As you can tell, they're broken up about it. The father is broken up about it. This is his little girl, his granddaughter or grandson. So I hope the online community doesn't do that, because I'm over that. It's like, do something else. Do something else this time for this family.
It's probably hurting him in a way that none of us will ever understand, but we see it.
For those of you joining us and just joining us now, there is a desperate search right now in Gary, Indiana and beyond for a 25-year-old pregnant mom, Emma Baum. Please help us.
The search for Baum has been extensive. Police say 3 primary locations have come up in the investigation, and those searches have been exhausted. Canines brought in on the search found nothing. Multiple interviews have been conducted as volunteers search overgrown fields, knock on doors, and pass out flyers. Officers are now scouring old video footage in the area where Baum went missing.
A 25-year-old mother, 9 months pregnant, is missing. Stunningly, I have learned that the number 1 cause of death amongst pregnant women in the U.S. is homicide. It's not a stroke. It's not blood pressure. It's not a heart attack. It's homicide. When I heard that, I actually tracked down the first author, a doctor that wrote that, because I couldn't believe it. As I recall, she was with the New England Journal of Medicine. I thought certainly I had it wrong. I didn't. She didn't. It's true. Look at Emma Baum. Please look at Emma Baum. I know we tonight sound angry and agitated, because we are. She cannot just vanish off the face of the earth. Who saw a 9 months pregnant woman? Her. Beautiful Emma. We know that her phone should still be pinging, but apparently it's not. We know there have been searches with canines. They found nothing. Volunteers searching overgrown fields, knocking on doors, passing out flyers. We know officers say they are scouring old video footage in the area from which she went missing. No sign of Emma. I don't believe in supernatural reasons for disappearances or reappearances. This is very real, and someone very real and very much alive knows where is Emma. Joining me in all-star panel, but in addition to Sister Abby, hopefully Father Jason can rejoin us. This has triggered so much for him. He is an Iraqi war vet. Mom Jamie, and now Sister Paige joining us, begging for your help. Back to Lisette Guillen joining us, host of Case Files Chicago. Lisette, I've been looking at the crime rates. Now, while Indiana itself has one of the lower national crime rates, Gary, not so much when it comes to violent crime. 27th in violent crime nationally. Explain.
The area of Gary is, very, it is very urban, and there is a lot of migration that comes through from the city of Chicago, people that have relocated there to here. So it's interesting, and we know that Chicago has some issues of its own, and some of those people come and bring some of those issues. So we're adding that onto the top, already on top of the issues that Gary's already had. The other problem is that there is a flight. I mean, people aren't living in Gary no more. People aren't putting a lot of businesses there like they used to, and so people are scavenging for jobs. People have to move out to find other jobs. The school system, there's plenty of schools that are not open anymore. In fact, one of them that came into question, Pulaski School, which is a point of interest for police, was set on fire recently. And so we have, in addition to abandoned buildings, we have abandoned schools now as well. So that all plays into the part of the crime and the dilapidation of the city of Gary.
All of what Lisette just told us is true, but that leaves me still asking, where is this beautiful girl at not at 1 centimeter dilation? Listen.
Emma Baum comes from a very close, big family with brothers and sisters for just about every day of the week. She loves the closeness they share now as adults, and she's creating her own large family with 3 children, Camden 6, Lucas 3, Amber 2, and her 4th is on the way. Her sister Abigail says Emma is energetic, always reaching for the sky like a sunflower, which is her favorite flower. Emma is very creative with her appearance, as she usually wears wigs of all kinds of colors and styles over her naturally brown hair. She never looks the same for very long.
Emma's family is desperately pushing for more resources to be put toward finding Emma. Listen.
Baum's family is pushing for more resources to be given to the search effort. Sister Abby Smith says the family has put their own lives at risk, searching abandoned houses and digging dirt piles. According to the Gary police commander, there are license plate reading cameras and gunshot detection technology, but no police observation device cameras or POD cameras in the area Baum was last seen in. Another sister, Haley Baum, says she has stopped people in their cars, stopped people walking, talking to everyone possible. They're now turning to the public for help. Emma's mother, Jamie Baum, says, quote, "We're always going to look for her. I'm never going to stop looking for her."
Let me understand, Jamie Baum, this is Emma's mother joining us. You and Abby have been stopping cars, asking if anyone has seen Emma. Tell me about this.
We've been out every day, all day, 24/7.
Walking in the middle of the road,
Going in houses, just getting anyone that we can.
holding our sign up to every window.
We're desperate to find her.
Paige Baum joining us in addition to Abby and Jamie. Paige, tell me about your family's effort on your own, without police or sheriffs, trying to find Emma.
We've been searching every day. We haven't found any answers, but we're gonna keep trying.
Abby, tell me about what is going through your mind when you're out in the middle of the road, running up to cars, saying, "Have you seen my sister?" and showing her picture.
Determination.
Hoping that someone is gonna give us an answer, that someone knows something, that maybe if they run us over, they'll look harder, because that could be the guy running from the situation. Like,
well, I don't understand why you have to be out going car to car and door to door and in abandoned homes looking for Emma. Jamie, why are your daughters doing the police work?
Well, we have to find her somehow. And if we have to do it, that's what's going to happen. Police aren't out there going through houses, so we are.
Why? Why aren't they? Have you asked them that?
Yes. They said
they
say they're doing their job.
Joining me is Greg Morse, high-profile trial lawyer, partner at the law firm of King and Morse, Palm Beach. You can find him at kingmorselaw.com. Greg, very often you and I are on different sides of the fence, but I think you agree with me that there's an issue here, a disturbing issue. How can you, without antagonizing or agitating law enforcement, how can you get them to do more? And what do you do as a family if you're not getting answers?
Well, it is surprising in this one. I looked into it. I haven't read the police have been trying to do. This country has license plate readers across the entire. There's an expressway that borders this. There's also a port to Lake Michigan that borders the island. There's a lot of opportunity for law enforcement to look at technology to try to shrink the story as to where this young lady was taken or where she went. I was surprised a lot of the mainstream media has not given very many details, which police, of course, hold back some stuff to verify credibility. I get that. But when I look at this area, that's unfortunately a common area in America, low income area that's forgotten. There's a lot of industry around it. One thing, we talk about cell phone towers. That's just one component of what it does. Cell phones also routinely, their Bluetooth will ping off of things anywhere they are. There is a lot of data that law enforcement could be looking at, and maybe they are. It sounds like, though, from the family that they're not. So I don't know how there hasn't been further information. There's a lot of resources to go to try to find where this girl or what happened to lead down that path.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to play another video that kind of outlined the area of Gary, Indiana, if you've never been there, to give you some kind of insight on the area where this young lady was living. Are you guys enjoying this? Here we go.
One of the most richest countries in the world. Richest countries in the world. And we have people here who don't have sufficient food. We have people here struggling who was born and raised in America.
That's Michelle, U.S. veteran. Boy, is she a trip. I think I liked her more than any other person I ever interviewed. Love her. I had just pulled over in another demolished part of Gary to look at some abandoned school. I thought it might be a good shot to show some swing sets and basketball courts all overgrown and neglected. And Michelle yelled out from her porch nearby, "Looks pretty bad, doesn't it? This city don't care. They don't care about nothing." So I went over and we talked for about 30 minutes. She had a lot to say.
They have sold the American people out. This ain't America. This is Scarica. But I'm not scared.
But man, this entire city looks like this. Just former this, former that. Who knows what has gone on in here in the last 50 years. It's America right here. This is what we're starting to look like in a lot of places. There are thousands of abandoned buildings in Gary, Indiana. I think there's more abandoned here than occupied. But you knew that. Everybody knows how bad Gary is. It's world famous. I'd been to Gary one time before, and since I was passing through on my way back to Michigan, I figured, I didn't really get a good look the first time around. And man, oh man, this might be the worst place I've ever seen. I had just seen this in Rockford, Illinois the day before. The sad reality of America today. Rockford fell apart because of changes in technology. That's something that all U.S. cities are going to face in the near future. But Gary is on another level. If Rockford is what our future might be, Gary, Indiana is our past. God, it's so sketchy out here. Okay, so I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in my day. I turned down a street out here, and there's probably 20 houses on this block. This entire block is gone. I've never seen anything like this before. It looks like it's been looted, and left for dead. This is a tragedy. This place is messed up. It was early in the morning on my last day in Gary. I was just driving around. I was killing time before we left for Michigan. And then I turned a corner and came across this cul-de-sac. I had never seen anything like that before. I was fascinated. Holy shit, this whole block. This entire street is gone. Holy shit. I've never seen anything like this. The whole street.
So those of you that are watching, and this woman, 25 years old, pregnant, went missing from this area, from Gary, Indiana. And I've looked on the Google Maps, and they don't look much better where her boyfriend was living. You know, do you think this looks like an area where if anybody saw anything, they'd be willing to talk to police?
And I've been to some sketchy places. You know that. And I've put myself in some uncomfortable situations. But that morning in Gary, felt like somebody was going to jump out and grab me. But it also felt like I was the only person in town. It was coming up on the end of the road trip. I had been on the road for nearly 4 weeks at this point. The weather in Gary was the same it had been for weeks now. Sunny, windy, way warmer than normal. First, I thought the nice weather was making it worse for me because there were a lot more people outside.
I mean, we don't see a lot of people out and about, so we can't even say, there's homeless everywhere. Okay, I'm going to show you live the map of where Emma was last seen. It is 25th in Connecticut. Can y'all see that okay? Let me get to the Google Map part right here. This area, this apartment right here was the last known residence of Emma's boyfriend, the individual who went into custody for warrants. So this is the area where she last was. I don't know if she left with a friend right here in this driveway. I don't know up here. I don't know up here. But just take a look at the avenue in which we're missing. There's a house, and there's a lot of abandoned buildings, as you can see. A lot of wooded areas, a vacant lot. Once again, this back apartment area right here was where the boyfriend was living, and Emma went to visit. So if we back out of this and we go kind of a little ways up, we can see the building on the front. This is the front of the house in front of the apartment. It looks like some kind of apartment building, but it's in bad shape as well. And there's an abandoned building. I mean, that looks abandoned. There's a lot of just areas around here that don't have the best outlook for somebody that's trying to find that has gone missing. If you look across the street over here, there's really not a lot. There's not a lot back here. As you heard them say in Nancy Grace's video, they brought in dogs and don't really know if they had any hits or not. Supposedly, law enforcement went into this residence. They didn't see anything that stated foul play. So it just it's very, very difficult to think about this case without thinking that foul play was involved. Texas, the boyfriend wasn't in jail at the time of her disappearance. She just got out of jail and she went to visit him. And once she went missing, the police showed up to look around and then he went to jail. But his story had changed multiple times. So this is what was presented in multiple videos that I've seen of the last location of where she was at. And I don't believe that there'd be any cameras that would have picked up anything unless they had, any kind of ring cameras or anything like that. And if they do, I'm sure the police have all that stuff. See, it just looks like all these houses are abandoned. Even though this house looks nice from the outside, it still has busted windows, cardboard. This window up here looks like somebody has used it to either enter the residence. This window looks like the blinds have been broken. And like I said, then there's this house right next door to it. And then there's this house. I mean, there's just a lot of abandoned, rundown areas. And the family said they risked their safety going into these residences searching for Emma and her baby. So, like I said, if her family is watching this on Facebook and you want a platform to come up and talk about your loved one, you're more than welcome to contact me either in the comments on Facebook and let me know when you're available, and I will let you come up on my panel and you can tell your sister's story yet again and get the word out. Because the more that you push this situation, a lot of people in my chat today have never even heard of this case. So to think that it's been out there, I've seen other creators talk about it, but not a lot of push by the mainstream media. Let me see what this says. It just sad all the way around that this situation happened the way it did. Once again, her name is Emma Baum. And she was last seen October 10th, 2024, near 25th and Connecticut Street. At this residence right here. I don't know at this time whether her boyfriend has moved back to that area or not, or if he's back in that apartment. I don't really believe that there's anything about that residence that is legit. I could be wrong. I mean, it looks like a trap house to me, but I'm not trying to judge. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look like there's a lot that was going on in that residence that was on the up and up. I mean, I understand it's a poor area. People do the best they can with what they got in these buildings if they're available. Of course, you're going to try to stay out of the elements and try to find somewhere to go. I get that. But if you have anything of importance, any kind of tip, please contact the Gary, Indiana Police Department or the number that you saw on the Nancy Grace podcast. 25th in Connecticut on October 10th, 2024. Once again, this is the last known residence where Emma Baum was seen. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Once again, my name is 12 Gauge. If you have any information on this case, please don't sit silent on it. Thank you very much.
Never do it for free.